This isn't just another climate pattern anymore. What's developing in the Pacific right now is starting to look like a potential global weather disaster in the making. Scientists have been watching this El Niño intensify for months, but the newest data is exploding beyond expectations. Some forecast models are now hinting at something almost unthinkable, a record-shattering super El Niño that could become the strongest ever observed in modern history. And if that actually happens, the impacts could be catastrophic. We're talking about violent weather extremes spreading across the planet through summer, fall, and deep into winter, historic flooding, relentless heat waves, severe drought expansion, crop failures, water shortages, massive wildfire conditions, unstable hurricane patterns. The atmosphere itself could shift into chaos. A powerful El Niño completely rewires the jet stream over North America. Storm systems begin racing across the southern United States non-stop, dragging tropical moisture inland and unleashing dangerous flooding rains from California to the Gulf Coast and up the East Coast. States like California, Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico could get hammered with repeated storm systems, while other parts of the country bake under unusually hot and dry conditions. At the same time, the northern US and parts of Canada could see snow seasons collapse. Warm Pacific air floods across the continent, crushing Arctic outbreaks and driving temperatures far above normal. Some previous Super El Niño winters turned entire regions into furnace-like patterns, where cold air barely existed for months. But the East Coast becomes the biggest wild card. If even a small amount of Arctic air manages to collide with this tropical moisture machine, the setup could trigger monster nor'easters and crippling blizzards across the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. One slight shift in the pattern could mean historic snowstorms instead of record warmth. And what's terrifying researchers right now is how fast this El Niño is strengthening. Only months ago, the Pacific was still in a La Niña pattern. Now ocean temperatures are skyrocketing at an alarming pace. Some areas beneath the ocean surface are already running 4 to 7 degrees Celsius above normal, an enormous amount of stored heat waiting to erupt upward into the atmosphere. To officially reach Super El Niño status, temperatures only need to rise about 2 degrees above average. Some models are now projecting nearly double that. A few extreme simulations are approaching temperature anomalies close to 4 degrees Celsius above normal, levels scientists have never witnessed before. At that point, nobody truly knows what happens next. The climate system has never been pushed this hard in recorded history. The impacts may not simply become stronger, they could become completely unpredictable. And history shows these events can devastate entire regions around the world. Past Super El Niños have triggered deadly flooding, widespread famine, agricultural collapse, brutal droughts, and massive economic damage across multiple continents. Entire ecosystems can shift. Fisheries collapse, monsoon seasons fail, wildfire seasons explode. Billions of people feel the consequences. Even hurricane season could behave differently. Normally, El Niño tears apart Atlantic hurricanes with powerful upper-level winds, reducing storm development across the tropics. But some past events still produce destructive storms in unusual locations, especially closer to the US coastline. If this El Niño becomes historically extreme, meteorologists warn the atmosphere could begin behaving in ways we've never documented before. And that's the biggest concern of all. This may not just be another El Niño. This could become one of the most disruptive climate events of the modern era.